Hey guys, it's Mrs. Finch coming to you live from my house today. I'm going to make a quick video about floral design. So to start with, I wanted to show you guys a couple of things. So plants, of course, that's the focus of the botany class. And this is just a potted plant. So this is actually aloe. So a potted plant is one way that you can enjoy plants in your house. So this is one at my house. And then I also have a terrarium, which we did in class earlier in the year. So this is my terrarium. He's got a little dinosaur in there and some red, white, and blue sand in there. So that's a terrarium. So that's a second way you can enjoy plants at your house. And the last way that is pretty exciting is floral design. Well, not the last way, but the last way I'm going to talk about today. So floral design, every so often I decide to pick up some flowers at Family Fair here in Marshall. Also the Albion Family Fair, you can pick up fresh flowers, or really lots of different grocery stores, Meijer's, Walmart, everywhere like that. Or you can actually go down to one of our local floral shops like the Harvester in downtown Marshall. So there's lots of different options. So when you get a set of flowers, this is how you actually prep them and take care of them. That's what we're going to go over today. So usually they put them in a nice bag like this, so that way they don't get water all over your car or your truck on the way home. So the stems are usually a little bit wet, so they do that. And I actually put a little piece of paper towel in here that is wet, so that way in transport my plants didn't dry out. So this is pretty much trash. You can just kind of toss that to the side. So you're going to notice that your plants actually have a rubber band around them, so you can just pull that off, or you can use your trusty scissors. These are just regular kitchen scissors. You can cut that, or you could just pull it off and then you can reuse it. Also a knife, just a nice little kitchen paring knife works just fine and dandy for this process. You can just rip this plastic. It rips pretty easy, but I like to use my scissors, cut it a little bit. These are actually roses. So this is a set of roses that cost me $10 today. So a little bit expensive, but really not that bad too, depending on what you want to do. So you can buy roses like this and then just give this to someone as a gift, or you can put them in a vase and take care of that step for your people, which is kind of a nice thing. So that's just, again, just plastic that we're going to set aside. You will notice the majority of flowers when you buy them at one of these places comes with a nice little packet of cut flowers, flower food. So we have a little packet right here. You can also make this if you look online. You can make your very own. This came from Holland. So you can make your own, and it's pretty simple. There's even like little directions on the back that tell you, what to do to add it to water, stir it around. It also tells you how you should cut your flowers at a 45-degree angles, and it says to cut off 1 inch. Very important to not just take them off and shove them in a vase of water, because they won't last as long. If you actually cut them, they'll last longer. The other thing that you can do to cut them and make them last longer is to cut off your extra leaves that are on them. So some people like the leaves, some people don't, but it will make them last longer by cutting them off. So if you want to keep them for the aesthetic value that they look pretty to you, then you can, but otherwise just go ahead and cut them off. You definitely want to make sure that these leaves are not underwater when you put them in your vase. So you're going to decide what kind of vase you want to have. So I just looked in my cabinet at home, and I have this red one. I have this skinnier little one. There you can see the size difference. And then I have another clear one that's about the same height as the red one. So looking at the size of my flowers, I kind of proportionalize it and kind of look at the size of my vases and my flowers and kind of decide how big I want to do it. You could also just use a clear glass. So here's just a glass of water. So you could just use a regular glass, a drinking glass. But the thing is, you want to make sure that you don't have too small of a container for your flowers. So if I try to put these flowers in this container, sorry, let me slide these other ones out of the way. You'll notice that it's way too big, and it will actually knock your glass over. So you want to be careful with that. And you don't necessarily have to have glass. A lot of people think that the glass looks nicer, but you don't really have to have a glass. So I'm going to, let's see what I've got here. I've got one flower that's a little bit shorter than the other flowers, so I'm going to set that aside. And then I'm going to look at mine. I think today I'm thinking I like this clear one, so I'm going to actually go with my clear vase. I don't know, for whatever reason, I just feel like a clear vase today. So I'm going to take all of mine and I'm going to decide to pull it off. Depending on the flowers that you're using, these roses, the leaves just pop right off. So pretty easy. The thing you want to make sure not to do is when you pop it off, to not catch this extra piece of the stem and then pull it all the way down, because that will actually hurt it. So just pop it off right there at the end. And then you can use your scissors, and you want to kind of think about how big your vase is and how tall you want it. And then I'll only cut it off to that height. So I'm going to go to 45-degree angle and try that one and then look at it. Yep, that looks good to me. And it really is what looks good to you and what you want out of your vase. So I'm going to do a few more of these. Roses you want to be really careful with because they do have thorns on them. So, and you also want to be careful because sometimes you'll get a leaf like this that's already kind of fallen down and wilted and bad. So you want to pull that off for sure. Depending on how big your workspace is, you want to make sure to kind of keep everything out of the way. I know a lot of actual floral shops, as they're making different arrangements, there just ends up being a lot of flowers and leaves and stuff all over the ground, and then they do clean up like at the end of the day or the end of the shift. So it just kind of depends on your thoughts and how clean you want your workspace. I don't have a lot of space on my table here, so I'm just kind of putting all my leaves off to the side there. I kind of like this leaf, so I'm actually going to leave it on for now with the intention that I might take it off later. Because that's the thing. Once you pull it off, you can't put it back on. There's not, glue. Well, there is floral glue, but that doesn't really work very well. It doesn't look very good. Oh no. When I was just pulling off the leaf, I did exactly what I told you guys not to do. So I actually pulled part of the stem there. So I'm going to, since I did that, I'm going to make sure that I cut it right above that. So it might be too short. We'll see what works. Okay, now I'm also going to look at my roses up here, and right here, this petal right here is not looking very good. So I'm going to very, very carefully pull it out. Try not to damage the rest of them. And then this one's got a little bit of a bad spot right there. So same thing. I'm going to pull that off very careful to not damage the other ones and not leave behind any residue. So there we go. So very nice. And one of the reasons why I like roses is they're very fragrant. They smell great. And I know I don't have COVID. At least I haven't lost my smell if I do have COVID, because you can smell. That's one of the symptoms. So the other thing you can do with roses is you can kind of poof them out a little bit to make them a little bit fuller. Some people like to do that. Some don't. Just kind of whatever your thoughts are. Ooh, there's another bad petal in that flower. As the cut flowers, as they wilt too, they will actually start to kind of poof out. So I kind of like that petal, so I'm going to keep that one. Okay, so I got all my leaves cut off, and then I cut this one, so I'm going to put that in. Oh, perfect. As you're cutting them, you also want to pay attention to where the nodules are, like on the actual stem. So you want to kind of pay attention to cut appropriately. Oh yes, that's a perfect height for that leaf. I like it. I like it a lot. Comes to floral design too, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So it really is what looks good to you and what looks artistic. If you're doing a full-on floral arrangement, you probably want to have a couple different kinds of flowers. Me today, I just wanted to do a vase of roses, so pretty simple thing. And this one has a lot of thorns on it. See those thorns there? So lots of them. So you got to be careful. And you can actually cut off the stem with it. You can actually use the knife and cut off the stem, the thorns. That way it won't poke you if you want to do that. And as I'm putting them into the jar, you'll see I'm kind of making like a crisscross through. That kind of helps to hold them in place where you want them. It's actually better to cut your stems underwater. I know I don't have any running water right here on my table. And I know a lot of people that don't do that, and your flowers are just fine without it. But a lot of people do try to do that. So. And there we go. So I have basically a vase with some roses in it right now. So, and as you saw, like I crisscrossed the pattern a little bit. I'm trying to decide if I really like those leaves or not. Kind of up to you, whatever you think you would like best. So, I don't know. So then the thing is, you want to add some water. So you just grab it right here and just pull it straight out, and then go take and get some water in your vase. And then add your floral food. You just mix that up with the water. Let it back in. So. Make sure you don't have anything floating in the water. Yep, looks good. And you can use one stem too to kind of help water it down. You want to try to change your water pretty frequently. The more frequently you change it, the better your flowers will actually do, and the longer they will last. You want to make sure that the stems are all down in the water. Rearrange it, and then look at that. You have a beautiful, beautiful vase of flowers to put on your table. I know it seemed like a long process. It really isn't a very long process. I just talked a lot as I went through, of course. The other thing you can do is you can make a single rose vase. I'll go here, go a little bit shorter. So, and again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. If you think it looks better with or without that. So, and there you go. We'll add a little bit of flower food to that. On the floral food, it actually says how much. So this packet goes for 1 quart. So you could measure that and do that. So then I have one little small vase with some flower in there. So, okay, it was good to see everybody. Thanks for watching my video. Have a good day.